really the key thing that needs to be open in the bunker shot is the face. The face will not dictate the direction. It's only going to dictate the loft on the shot and the effective bounce that we're able to add, if you like, by opening the face. The key areas that you need to establish in the setup would be the forward pressure of this lead hip and lead knee. I really see the best bunker players, especially when they're trying to hit high bunker shots, really having a lot more pressure down and forward this way. I don't really see them sitting back. And I'd also say that they give themselves a lot more space. I know years ago when I learnt bunker shots, it was very much a out and across action, which can be very effective for the better player, club kind of sliding across the ball. But as far as ultimate ball control, I really see a lot of the best bunkers in the world now squaring off a lot more with the feet and even path. So I'm going to challenge you to work on some more square alignments when you're hitting your bunker shots. I don't mind a little bit of openness to the stance, but really the key thing that needs to be open in the bunker shot is the face. The face will not dictate the direction. It's only going to dictate the loft on the shot and the effective bounce that we're able to add, if you like, by opening the face. So squaring off the stance, first and foremost, giving yourself a lot more space from, let's say, feet to ball. I don't have an exact number, but it will feel a little uncomfortable moving the ball further away. And what it will do, it will start to kind of lower you down, which creates a lot more stability in your setup. I'm going to hit one out of here in a moment, but if you look at that setup that I'm in versus your one, which looked kind of more in this kind of position here, the issue I have with being too open, and I'm just going to kind of circle around to what I mentioned at the start, when we get too open and I'm going to a target in front of me, I start to get almost a look where the weight sits on my back heel or sort of into my right thigh here. And that's going to be obviously problematic as far as potentially hitting behind the golf ball and just contact issues. So back to this view, I like for you to give yourself a lot more space from the ball. From here, you'll have to kind of really lower yourself down a little bit with the legs, a little bit with the upper body. But that really puts me in a stable position where I can potentially be a lot more kind of shallow into this bunker shot. So that's one idea. And the sand here is rained quite a lot. It is very soft here, but slightly compacted because of the rain. So it's a little different to what you were playing with, but I feel like the amount of bounce that we're looking for and the depth of the divot is really the key area. So with this setup again, we're going to press the left hip forward, left knee forward, make sure the upper center is nicely covering the ball. Don't want to see too much tilt back here. The loft of the shot is going to be created more through the face at setup and really where the handle's situated at the start, which is going to allow us to release the club or release the right hand at the bottom if you like to get the loft. One of the areas technically that I did want you to work on is what I would call the arc width. You have a very narrow arc, meaning that the club works up and down like fairly sharply. If you want to think about it in a kind of V formation or definitely a very strong U, what I'm looking for with yours is to have more of a wider U shape, and basically that just means taking out, some of the wrist activity that you have in the backswing. The idea with that is it'll get the depth of the divot a lot shallower, and I feel like that's important when we've got that kind of powdery sand. We can obviously take a big divot in these, but I feel like at your level you're not going to get the spin control. You'll start to hit shots heavy because the club's not coming out fast enough, and obviously that's going to play around with distance control. So I'm going to hit one shot here where I get a sense of being a little kind of wider with my arc back and through. You can see how much more dense the sand is here. I feel like the texture that you're playing out of is going to be a little less challenging than this right here. With this one, I'd probably want to explode it just a little bit more. But I still want you to adopt the same concept as far as being a little wider here, a little wider there. Depth of the divot's not going to be quite as much, and obviously with the weight being a little bit more forward, it's going to move the low point or the contact a little bit closer to the ball. So those are the key things I'd focus on with your bunker plate.